Breaking news confirms a significant legal development in the United States. A mother has reportedly filed a lawsuit against artificial intelligence developer OpenAI. This legal action, brought forward in a U.S. court, immediately brings critical questions about AI's impact into the judicial spotlight. The filing itself marks a pivotal moment for the burgeoning AI industry, raising profound questions regarding its accountability and the potential for legal precedent as these powerful technologies become more integrated into daily life. The industry watches closely as this unprecedented case begins to unfold. Sources indicate the lawsuit alleges a direct connection between the plaintiff's daughter's death and her use of ChatGPT. This reported link forms the central, grave accusation against OpenAI. The specifics of how ChatGPT is allegedly involved in this tragic event have not been publicly detailed. However, the very premise of such an allegation forces an examination of the interaction between AI models and human users, particularly concerning the potential for unforeseen and severe consequences. The court will now scrutinize these serious claims. The plaintiff, identified as the daughter's mother, seeks legal recourse through this lawsuit. While the precise legal theories invoked are yet to be fully disclosed, such cases often explore claims like wrongful death, product liability, or negligence. The mother's complaint asserts a profound failure on OpenAI's part, positioning the AI developer as potentially responsible for the devastating outcome. Legal analysts suggest the plaintiff will face the complex task of establishing a clear causal link between ChatGPT's use and the tragic circumstances, a challenge in nascent AI litigation. OpenAI, creators of the widely used ChatGPT, stands as the defendant in this landmark case. The company has rapidly ascended as a leader in generative artificial intelligence. This lawsuit targets the core of their product development and deployment. OpenAI has consistently emphasized AI safety and ethical guidelines. However, this legal challenge directly questions the practical efficacy of those measures when confronted with real-world human tragedy. The company's response will undoubtedly shape future discussions around AI corporate responsibility. This lawsuit ventures into largely uncharted legal territory. Existing laws were not drafted with sophisticated AI models like ChatGPT in mind. Attorneys will grapple with applying traditional legal frameworks, such as product liability or negligence, to an AI system that generates dynamic and context-dependent responses. The outcome could significantly influence how courts interpret AI's role and responsibility. Legal experts are closely observing whether this case will necessitate new interpretations of liability for autonomous or semi-autonomous software, setting a critical benchmark for future AI litigation. A primary challenge for the plaintiff will be establishing a clear line of causation. Demonstrating that specific interactions with ChatGPT directly led to the daughter's death requires robust evidence. AI's complex, black box nature, or internal decision-making is not always transparent, complicates this task. The defense will likely argue against direct causation, highlighting other potential factors or the inherent unpredictability of human-AI interactions. This evidentiary hurdle could define the case's trajectory, requiring innovative legal and technical arguments to bridge the gap between AI output and real-world impact. One potential legal avenue for the lawsuit involves product liability. Typically, this holds manufacturers responsible for defective products that cause harm. Applying this to generative AI like ChatGPT is complex. Is ChatGPT a product in the traditional sense? Does its output constitute a defect if it leads to harm? These questions delve into the very definition of AI as a consumer-facing entity. The court's interpretation could force AI developers to re-evaluate their products' safety standards, disclosures, and risk assessments, potentially ushering in new regulatory requirements for the industry. The lawsuit also raises questions about OpenAI's duty of care to its users. Does an AI developer have a responsibility to anticipate and mitigate all potential harms, including those impacting mental health or leading to extreme outcomes? Establishing the scope of this duty for an evolving technology like ChatGPT is critical. Traditional negligence claims hinge on foreseeability and reasonable action. Experts will debate what constitutes reasonable for an AI system that interacts with millions globally. The ruling could set a precedent for the ethical obligations of AI creators. This case amplifies ongoing discussions about AI safety and ethics within the technology community. Concerns about AI's potential for misinformation, bias, and even more severe psychological impacts on users have been widely debated. The reported lawsuit shifts these theoretical discussions into the very real, and tragic, context of a court proceeding. It forces a re-evaluation of how AI models are trained, what safeguards are implemented, and the transparency surrounding their limitations. The industry may face increased pressure to implement stricter ethical guidelines. Currently, the United States operates within what many describe as a regulatory vacuum concerning advanced AI. Specific federal laws governing AI development, deployment, and liability are largely absent. This lawsuit may serve as a catalyst for legislative action, pushing lawmakers to establish clear guidelines for AI companies. Without established legal frameworks, courts are left to interpret existing laws, which were never designed for artificial general intelligence, potentially leading to inconsistent rulings and uncertainty for the entire sector. The pressure for regulation is mounting. Legal analysts are offering varying perspectives on the potential success of this lawsuit. Some point to the inherent difficulty of proving direct causation with AI, especially regarding psychological impact or specific user decisions. Others argue that if negligence can be demonstrated in OpenAI's design or warning labels, a path to liability exists. The consensus remains that this is a groundbreaking case, regardless of its ultimate outcome. Experts agree that the legal arguments presented and the court's interpretations will establish significant markers for future AI jurisprudence. Should the case proceed, the discovery process will be extensive. Both sides will seek to obtain evidence, including internal OpenAI communications, development logs, safety protocols, and detailed usage data related to ChatGPT. The plaintiff's legal team will undoubtedly probe OpenAI's knowledge of potential risks associated with their AI. Conversely, OpenAI will likely investigate the daughter's interaction history with ChatGPT and other contributing factors. This phase alone could reveal unprecedented insights into AI's internal workings and how users engage with these systems. The mere filing of this lawsuit could have a profound impact on the direction of AI development. Companies might become more cautious in releasing new models, prioritizing safety features and rigorous testing over speed to market. Developers may face increased pressure to build explainable AI systems, making their internal logic more transparent for accountability purposes. This legal challenge serves as a stark reminder that innovation must be balanced with robust ethical considerations and user protection. The ripple effects could reshape industry best practices globally. The case inevitably brings the dynamics of user interaction with AI into sharp focus. How do individuals interpret and act upon information generated by systems like ChatGPT? The lawsuit may explore the extent to which users perceive AI as authoritative or influential, and how this perception impacts their decisions. It highlights the psychological interface between human and machine, a complex area that developers are only beginning to fully understand. This could lead to new guidelines for user interfaces, promoting critical engagement rather than blind trust. The legal landscape for technology companies is constantly evolving, but AI presents unique challenges. Unlike traditional software, generative AI can produce unforeseen outputs. This lawsuit could compel courts to develop new legal tests or modify existing ones to adequately address AI's unique capabilities and risks. It underscores the need for proactive adaptation within the judiciary to keep pace with rapid technological advancements. The decisions made in this case may well establish foundational principles for future legal battles involving artificial intelligence across various applications. There are several potential outcomes for this groundbreaking lawsuit. The case could be settled out of court, avoiding a public trial but potentially involving a confidential agreement. A full trial could result in a judgment for the plaintiff, establishing significant liability for OpenAI, or for the defense, absolving the company. Appeals would almost certainly follow any significant ruling, pushing the case higher through the judicial system. Each scenario carries profound implications for OpenAI, the plaintiff, and the broader AI industry, shaping future litigation and regulation efforts. The news of this lawsuit has already garnered significant attention from both the public and the technology industry. Public discourse often oscillates between enthusiasm for AI's potential and deep-seated concerns about its risks. This case brings those concerns into sharp relief. Within the industry, developers, investors, and policymakers are undoubtedly discussing the potential ramifications, from increased compliance costs to a shift in public perception of AI's trustworthiness. The outcome will be watched closely as a barometer for how society holds AI creators accountable. This lawsuit implicitly calls for greater transparency from AI developers like OpenAI. Understanding how AI models operate, how they are tested for safety, and what measures are in place to prevent harm becomes paramount. As AI systems become more autonomous and influential, the demand for clear disclosures about their capabilities, limitations, and potential risks will only intensify. This legal challenge could be a pivotal step towards establishing a new standard of accountability and openness within the secretive world of advanced AI development, benefiting users globally. As this legal case begins, the specifics of the alleged link between ChatGPT and the daughter's death remain under investigation. Our reporting relies solely on the stated fact of the lawsuit's filing and its alleged connection. We continue to monitor developments closely, awaiting further details from official court documents or statements from the parties involved. This remains an active and evolving situation with significant implications for the future of artificial intelligence law and user protection. We will bring you updates as new information emerges.